To the gentler souls who walk among us, who give of themselves tirelessly, the ones who say yes even when they feel like saying no, who are in service to everyone except themselves, who feel guilty when they take care of themselves, who have no idea of their own self-worth. This book is for you. Hello, my friends! Welcome to the Maya's Dream Channel. I wanted to introduce you all to a book that has truly changed my life, and this is Sensitive is the New Strong by our friend Anita Moorjani. Sensitive is the New Strong is a book written by an empath for empaths. As many of you will know, an empath is someone who feels the thoughts, feelings, and energies of the people around them and their environment in their own body, in their own field. As empaths, we experience the world in a very different way, and a lot of us are really never taught how to care for ourselves. We go out in the world and we tend to be just these amazing experts at sort of loving and caring for and helping other people. But a lot of us don't really know how to love, care for, and help ourselves. If you're one of those people who is feeling depleted all the time, then this book is for you. I thought I would take you guys on a little guided tour of Sensitive is the New Strong. This book is broken down into 3 parts. Part 1 of this book is what impacted me the most. Part 1 is called The World of an Empath, and I think this really profoundly touched me. As I was reading it, I really felt that Anita was able to put words to my lived experience as an empath and a psychic in a way that nobody else ever truly has or could. Oh my goodness! Part 2 of this book is called Your Relationship with Yourself. Anita Moorjani actually died of lymphoma several years ago, and then she came back to life. When she did, her message that she received from a higher power was to live life fearlessly and to live life from a place of honoring and loving herself. And we hear it all the time. I'm sure you've heard it. Like this video if you've heard it. Love yourself! Like, everybody in the spiritual community is like, you gotta love yourself, and it's so true. But how do you love yourself? Part 2 of this book, Your Relationship with Yourself, goes into the logistics of what that actually looks like. Finally, we have part 3. Part 3 is really special if you're not already sort of intimately familiar with Anita's journey. It shares her own development and evolution from someone who sort of experienced the world as an empath in a really almost victimized way, to the point that she actually put herself last so much that she developed a cancer that killed her, through her near-death experience and into her new way of living. So that's a little bit of a tour of the book. Let's talk about a few of my favorite features of this book. I loved Anita's simple definitions. Anita clarified the difference between a highly sensitive person, which she sort of describes as a very intuitive person who is very sensitive to their environment, and an empath who she describes as someone who experiences the thoughts and feelings of others in their own body and auric field, as if they were their own thoughts and feelings. That is a clarification that I have been looking for a long time. So that was such a helpful distinction to understand yes, there are people who are highly sensitive and they can actually perceive like what's going on within other people, within their environment, but they are able to, pretty well differentiate what is theirs versus what isn't, versus an empath who really is like a receiving channel for whatever is around them. She also clarified a term we use all the time but rarely define, which is intuition. And she described it so simply and beautifully. She said, intuition is knowing what is true. Knowing things that are true without being told. Anita also defines terms like NDE, and she puts her own definition on the term health crisis, which she defines as our body's way of rescuing us from our current path. And another one of my very favorite parts of this book, it is a quiz. I have taken empath quizzes before. This quiz I really thought was extraordinary. She mentioned things that I had not really heard before. One of them that really stuck out to me here, number 12, it says, you have a tough time wearing pre-owned clothing because you can feel the energy of the person who owned the clothing before you, and you just don't feel like yourself. My favorite chapter by far was chapter 2, which is called Empath, Blessing or Curse. My favorite page is page 43, where it describes the amazing things that can happen for all of us if we follow our higher calling or listen to our inner voice. It says, when you follow that higher calling, your life works out in magical ways. Anita really talks about the necessity of unplugging and spending time alone, and Anita really hit the nail on the head with that. So there is one drawback. If you are sort of already pretty familiar with Anita Moorjani, if you've been following her story for a while, if you have read her prior books like Dying to Be Me, or just simply watched a lot of her YouTube videos, you may find that a pretty decent part of this book may already be familiar to you. A lot of part 3 is a discussion of Anita's personal story, and it seems to be possibly drawn from sort of other talks that she's given and things like that. So you may find that a portion of the book is a review. However, if you're not already like intimately familiar with Anita Moorjani, I think you will find value in every single word in this book. Big picture, the message of sensitive is the new strong is really about like how to thrive as an empath. Anita teaches us to be ourselves in sensitive is the new strong. We learn how to stop saying yes when we truly mean no, and how to start sort of living from the heart, recharging our batteries and strengthening our own energy. This is not a book about how to cultivate your intuition. It's not a guide in intuitive development. Rather, it is a guide in how to navigate a sometimes harsh, energetic environment and world as someone who is a gifted intuitive. So you guys, I'm very grateful for this book and very happy to see such a candid discussion about what it really is like to live, through the eyes of an empath or a highly sensitive person. In closing, I wanted to share a sentiment from Anita, which can be found on page 89. A true spiritual teacher sees your greatness and teaches you how to see it in yourself. They show you by example how to trust your own guidance system and thus help you to awaken your own inner mystic and set yourself free from fear and dogma. Good teachers help you believe in yourself rather than cultivating a belief in them. Anita Moorjani, you are a true spiritual teacher. Thank you so much for empowering us. And as Anita would say herself, go out and live your lives fearlessly. Thank you guys! Thank you so much for watching today. It is an honor to have you here on the Maya's Dream channel. Many blessings to all of you, and namaste.